Hello, I'm William Hartmann, and thank you for joining me for the Great Aha. I've asked anybody and everybody within the Hilltop Lakes community to join me to view this video. Whether you intend in this year's Board of Directors elections to vote for me or any of the other 6 candidates, the message that I really have to communicate in this video is for our community. And I titled it The Great Aha. So, The Great Aha is about the future potential success of Hilltop Lakes. We're talking the success of Hilltop, not only financially, economically, but as a special community. Do you remember at the very beginning, I told a story from somebody I know well, a very smart wise woman here in Leon County, who told the story of when her and her husband first started coming to Hilltop Lakes back in the 70s, through the 80s, through the 90s. And she mentioned how Hilltop Lakes was just an extraordinary community, that it was the closest thing that they had seen this side of heaven, that the people of Hilltop Lakes just got along so well, and that our association functioned as an association and as a business so doggone efficiently and well. Well, I submit to you that the Great Aha is about the number one fundamental in accomplishing the great new future of Hilltop Lakes, which looks a lot like, but better than some of the storied past we've had at Hilltop Lakes. So what is it? Well, some of you may have heard the final reflections that a good friend of mine told me, who knew the Beelan family well and had the opportunity to speak to the original developer, Beelan, shortly really before he passed. And they were speaking about Hilltop Lakes and another community very similar to Hilltop Lakes. And he lamented how it really saddened him, the amount of discord and division that came to these communities, and tribalism. And it was almost a given that he saw across the board over time that these communities devolved to. Once the developer was no longer part of the equation, running the community as a business, this was a natural state of decay that communities generally trended towards. Now, this is not exclusive to Hilltop Lakes, what Beelan was referring to. It happens to basically all communities that are similar to ours. That is, unless something out of the ordinary occurs. Enter the Great Aha. This is how we begin to turn the corner on where we are now and where we all truly want to be. Above this video here, you can see a number of others that will help backfill some important points of note if you are new to this conversation. Previously, I identified 2 dominant mindsets within the politics and the discourse of Hilltop Lakes. Most know that I am not only the number 1 candidate on the ballot this year, position number 1, I'm also the only independent candidate of the 7, which means there are basically 2 tickets. A pseudo-alliance among candidates that are representing these 2 different mindsets. You have the 4-5-7 crowd, and then you have the 2-3-6 crowd. And the 2-3-6, their agenda is quite different than the 4-5-7. Now, to survive and thrive, we must end the divide among us as a community. And I have a good hunch on how to make that happen. That's a tall order, right? Well, I submit that it starts with math. Let's take a look. Now, what we're about ready to do here is extraordinarily important. This math, I submit to you, is ground center of what has the capacity to pull us all together, shoulder to shoulder, in this community. Now, over the course of this election period, a couple numbers have been established, and that was that we have roughly 650 resident property owners at Hilltop Lakes. And we all know that those resident property owners pay every month $65 in POA maintenance fees. And if you take that 65 times roughly 650 residents, and you extrapolate that times 12 months out of the year, over the course of that year, this body of property owners contributes $507,000 into the operating budget of Hilltop Lakes. Now, there's another number that's even more important than that one, and that is the 3,000 non-resident property owners. We're down to about 3,000 now is the reported number. So we have 3,000 fellow property owners in our association. Forget that, 3,000. And we all know those property owners pay $35 a month. And if we take that $35 and we extrapolate that over 12 months, those property owners contribute every year $1,260,000 into the operating budget of Hilltop Lakes. So we add this number and that number, that's what we are currently paying all the bills to run our community and provide us the lifestyle that we enjoy here at Hilltop Lakes. Now, this number is relatively stable, okay? Doesn't change much. Year after year, you're generally seeing this number come in. This number, the only thing stable about it is its stability and its decline, okay? It has been declining year after year for quite some time now. And about 10% of this body is slipping away per year. So let's keep it simple. 10% per year. So 5 years at 10%, we lose 50% of that number. So 5 years from now, instead of having 3,000 people paying in $35 a month, at our current rate of atrophy, how our property owner base, our customer base is slipping, in 5 years that number goes from 1.26 million to $630,000. So in just 5 years, the number we have to run this association is not 1.7 million, which is what we're running a very thin budget on right now to try to cover all the bases we have to cover. And we can't cover big ticket capital expenditures that are long overdue, such as the irrigation of our golf course, which is way overdate to be replaced and is becoming very unstable and unreliable. We're having a hard time doing that at 1.7. In 5 years, we're not going to have 1.7. We're going to have just over 1 million. This is a huge problem. If you're a retiree here, this is a big problem. The stability of your lifestyle that you are enjoying now at Hilltop Lakes, it's not stable. If you're a golfer, this is a big problem. Because if you love the high quality of our beautiful golf course that we have here now, okay, this number and that number doesn't run that golf course. Matter of fact, we don't have to wait 5 years, okay? We get 2 years from now, we get 3 years from now, we don't have the money to do a lot of things of what you're accustomed to right now. So, I don't mean to be Debbie Downer here, but that's the seriousness of the numbers, business-wise, of what it takes to run our association. But I have very good news. I have very good potential news. Let's climb back up on the rail and we'll go there. All right, we're back. I'll be honest with you, I like sitting on the rail. But to pick up where we were from the numbers, if we take this opportunity in time, starting this year, starting this election, and we start coming together in a way that hasn't been seen in a number of years at Hilltop Lakes. Golfers, you're going to get to continue to play on a great, well-maintained, and an improved golf course. It's a win for golfers. Retirees, you get an outstanding quality of life, a great lifestyle. You're going to get new benefits as part of the community that's going to benefit not only you, but your family that comes to visit. They may come visit even more. Non-residents and new residents, you're going to get a relaxing and a fun place to go to get away from the rat race and start enjoying life. At the end of the day, we all win. Period. We all win in a far more substantial way as well. Because we have the ability to start rekindling relationships and creating a great community to call home that hasn't been seen up here for too many years. Look, this is real. It's sound. But at the end of the day, what we're talking about here is business. We will go the way of Sears as a community. If we fool ourselves into thinking that we can jettison the business principles that undergird Hilltop Lakes, if we try to do that, if we continue along the path of doing that, it's going to lead us to absolute failure as a community. But we have more potential, we have more capacity to be one of the greatest success stories in this whole region of Texas. It's a matter of what is our vision? Who do we want to be? What do we want to be? And if you want to be that successful community from the storied past where our community got along wonderful together, that our association could afford to have a general manager along with whatever security service they wanted, along with all the other elements that we had here, not to mention maybe some new things that we may want to have here. To have all those things, we can have it. But we have to make a decision. Which one is it going to be? It's good for everybody. If you're a retiree, this is a beautiful answer for your retirement. If you're a golfer, man, it's a beautiful answer for your golf game. And I'm going to reiterate one point to the golfers. Don't think for a minute that what I'm talking about is going to mess with your tee times. Actually, your lack of tee times. If you know the history of Hilltop Lakes, when we had twice the amount of non-resident property owners that we do now, you still did not need to make a tee time at the Hilltop Lakes Golf Course. It didn't happen in the past, and it's not going to happen in the future. We're located 45 minutes away from just about any notable population center in Leon County. Okay? Rest well. That day will never occur. But our financial health and what that means to that golf course, like a new irrigation system, like other upgrades or improvements, those things absolutely can happen if we make the correct decisions. Retirees, your retirement's going to be on solid ground, and your lifestyle is going to continue to be just as good, and to be honest with you, even better. For people such as myself, who've lived at Hilltop Lakes and maybe work in another community, man, we're going to continue to enjoy the great lifestyle that we share with our neighbors here at Hilltop Lakes. Our non-resident property owners, they're going to get the full promise and potential of what they're buying into, what they bought into, and what the new ones will be buying into. So, let's make that decision together. Let's stop the division. Let's stop the tribalism. Let's stop all the nasty stuff that has been generating year after year in our community. And let's do it now. I hope you join me. Get out and vote. Remember, I'm the #1 candidate, literally. Have a great day.